All right, let's dive into Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book, it's got this really cool format, like we're watching some lost documentary.
Yeah.
And through all these interviews with the band, you get all sides of their crazy journey to the top and, that huge mystery why they break up when they were on top of the world.
Yeah, it's really clever the way Reid pulls you in with these conflicting memories and perspectives. Like you're piecing the puzzle together yourself. Makes you wonder, what really happened.
Totally.
So even before the Six were a thing, Daisy Jones was already turning heads in the LA music scene. I mean, imagine a girl so captivating a contact lens company names a shade Daisy Blue after her eyes.
Wow, that's wild. But yeah, she grew up privileged, had this undeniable beauty, and she was hanging out at all the legendary clubs like the Whiskey, a Go-Go, the Continental Hyatt House even.
So she was immersed in that whole rock scene from the start. Did those early relationships with all the guys she was around influence her path, do you think? It seems like she was trying to find herself almost through their attention.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I mean, her close friend Simone, she was a successful musician herself. And Simone really saw Daisy's potential and kept pushing her to focus on her own music.
So Simone was like the voice of reason.
Exactly.
So then comes Wyatt Stone from The Breeze. Did that relationship boost her confidence?
Definitely. I think that's when things started to click for her. But even with all that talent, she struggled to finish her songs, Like she had the passion and this raw ability, but lacked the discipline to polish things up.
It's like she had all the pieces, but didn't know how to put them together.
Exactly.
So while Daisy's navigating L.A., we've got Billy Dunn forming a band with his brother Graham over in Pittsburgh. They call themselves the Winters. Pretty different vibe, right?
Yeah, total opposites, actually. Graham loved Roy Orbison, that smooth sound, But Billy was all about the raw energy of rock and roll. Think Dylan, Lennon.
Yeah, you could definitely see those influences in their music. Plus, they had that whole rock star look down pat, long hair, denim, those iconic belt buckles. But then there's this heavy moment when Billy runs into his dad, who basically blows him off.
Oof. Yeah, that was rough. I think that encounter really messed with Bill, made him determined to be a better man. And it's around then that he meets Camila. She becomes his anchor, his inspiration.
Yeah, you can just feel the connection between them from the start. Like he brings this calmness to his chaotic world. So the Six, they decided to make the move to L.A.
Yep, right into the heart of the rock and roll scene. Ended up with a residency at the Continental Hyatt House. Talk about a wild ride.
I bet that was quite the experience. And it's there they meet Rod Ray as their manager, right?
That's right. Rod was the one who got them gigs, helped them navigate the whole industry maze, and eventually landed them that record deal.
So he was a pretty crucial piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
Oh, what about Karen? Karen, when did she enter the picture?
So Karen, she was this crazy, talented keyboardist, had some bad experiences in her old band with guys hitting on her constantly. LA was like a fresh start for her musically and personally.
Wow, so she found her place with the Six. Okay, so they're in LA, they've got their manager, their sound is evolving, and then bam, they sign with Runner Records.
Yep, and with Teddy Price as their producer, no less, that was their dream come true.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But didn't Billy propose to Camila over the phone right after they got the deal?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet,
Yeah.
Like a huge win professionally, but a reminder of the sacrifices they're making for their dreams.
That's got to be tough on a relationship.
Totally. And that push and pull between their personal lives and their ambitions, that's a big theme throughout their story.
Makes you wonder how they managed to keep it all together for as long as they did.
Right. Meanwhile, Daisy's back in LA. Her solo career is like simmering, but not quite taking off. She's got the buzz, but turning that raw talent into actual songs, that's the hurdle.
Yeah. It sounds like her independent streak may be working against her a little. Her manager, Hank, he wants her in the studio, but she's not into anyone messing with her vision.
Right. And then Teddy Price comes along, sees that potential, offers her a deal record, an album his way, and he'll help her hone her songwriting.
So basically a masterclass from a legend, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about a turning point.
Totally forces Daisy to face those control issues. And it's funny how Teddy, who produced the Six's first album, becomes this mentor figure for Daisy.
Yeah, it's like he sees the diamond in the rough, just needs some polishing.
Exactly.
So the Six are working on their second album, Honeycomb. Pressure's on for a hit single. And Teddy throws out this wild idea, bringing a female vocalist for a duet on the title track.
And his pick, Daisy Jones, of course.
Of course.
But Billy, He's not so sure about it at first.
Can you blame him?
Nah, but Teddy's convinced Daisy's the missing ingredient, the one to give the song that edge.
So what happens when these two forces collide?
Sparks fly, man. That first meeting, it's electric. You've got these huge personalities clashing these different creative visions.
Sounds intense.
Oh, it is, but there's this undeniable chemistry, too, like something big's about to happen.
I can only imagine.
So they get in the studio to record Honeycomb, and it's magic. Daisy, she brings this whole new interpretation to the lyrics, pushes against Billy's melody, infuses the song with this raw passion that blows everyone away.
The rest is history, right?
Honeycomb explodes, becomes a massive hit, launches the Six into superstardom.
So they hit the Rose sold-out tour. Their music's everywhere.
But that's when the cracks start to show. Billy and Daisy, they're dynamic. It's volatile, this mix of admiration and tension.
Yeah, it's like they're playing with fire.
Exactly.
And then you've got Billy battling his demons, the temptations of that rock and roll lifestyle. Daisy, on the other hand, makes this impulsive decision, marries an Italian prince, Niccolo.
Oh, yeah. Niccolo adds a whole other layer of drama to the mix. Charismatic guy, but possessive, creates this wedge between Daisy and the band.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
But somehow, amidst all the chaos, their creative energy, it doesn't die. They record Aurora, an album that's raw, emotional, powerful.
So Aurora, it really captures the essence of Daisy Jones and the Six, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's got that raw energy, their emotional depth, this ability to connect with listeners on such a deep level.
It's like you can feel their story in every note.
Exactly.
And then comes their performance on Saturday Night Live, their biggest moment yet.
Yep, they totally kill it, captivate millions of viewers. But behind the scenes, things are falling apart. Karen, she's fed up with the drama. Her relationship with Graham's a mess. She decides to leave the band.
Wow, that's a big turning point. Like the beginning of the end.
And Daisy's marriage, it implodes, sends her spiraling back into addiction. Billy, he's trying to stay sober, be a good husband and father, but the pressure's mounting.
So everything's coming to a head.
Yeah, and then comes this huge confrontation between Daisy and Camila late one night. Camila, she's fiercely protective of her family. She tells Daisy to leave the band for Billy's sake.
That must have been a tough scene. Two strong women caught in this impossible situation.
It's heartbreaking, really. And it leads to the decision that changes everything.
So their final performance in Chicago, is it as explosive as everyone says?
Oh, it's electric. The energy's raw. The emotions are palpable. And then, poof, it's over. Just like that, Daisy disappears. Leaves behind a legacy of unanswered questions and a void in the music world that's never filled.
Man, it's like you finish the book and you're left hanging, wondering what happened to all of them after that last show. Like, did they ever come to terms with everything that went down, or are they still haunted by it all?
Well, the book gives us these little glimpses into their lives years later. Rod Reyes, their manager, he just walks away from the music industry completely, ends up in Denver looking for a quieter life.
Wow, that's a pretty drastic change.
Yeah, and Graham and Karen, their relationship doesn't last either. Kind of sad. All that potential just fizzles out.
Yeah, it's like what could have been. So what about Daisy and Billy? Did they ever escape the shadow of the Six?
Billy steps back from the spotlight, focuses on his family. Starts writing songs for other artists instead of performing himself.
So he traded the rock star life for something more stable, huh?
Seems like it, like he finally chose peace over the chaos.
But do you think he ever truly got over Daisy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And then years later, this huge bombshell drops, something that connects their stories in a way no one saw coming.
Okay, now I need to know more.
You'll have to read the book to find out. It completely reframes their whole relationship.
Man, Reid really knows how to keep you hooked. It makes you think about the legacy of Daisy Jones and the Six. Was it all about the music, or the cultural impact, or maybe the way they all changed as people because of it?
That's the beauty of this book. It's not just a rock and roll story.
Yeah.
It's about ambition and heartbreak forgiveness, second chances. It's about finding your voice, navigating relationships, choosing your own path, even when it's hard.
It's definitely more than just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We've only scratched the surface here, folks.
Right.
To really get the full experience, you got to dive into the book yourself.
You won't regret it.
And for more deep dives into the stories behind the stories, make sure you subscribe to our channel and share this episode with your friends.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating journey into the world of books. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.